Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Gnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodha Vidhiyate. We are discussing these three states of experience, avastha traya. Last time we saw partially about the dream state. During the waking state, we encounter the world, interact with the world. These interactions leave behind certain emotions. This interaction sometimes trigger certain response in the mind. But my better sense prevails and I feel that I shouldn't respond this way. And I end up responding in another way. All those unfulfilled ambitions, that unpleasant or even pleasant situations, all the list of pending desires, they remain frozen as though. They remain as unconscious, what modern psychology calls it. And just as when there is a proper temperature, the frozen thing starts melting. Those impressions, reactions, ambitions, desires, emotions start melt and express suddenly. You don't plan for their expression, but they just come out. Some of you might have discovered when you sit for meditation, when you sit for japa, suddenly your school friend will come to you. Suddenly the ex-boss or ex-colleague will come to you. You already left the company for 10 years ago. Suddenly some event which took place when you got married some 20, 30 years ago, that comes to mind. All these things they were there in memory, in unconscious. What we call in Shastric language is vasana or samskaras. They start manifesting. But in the waking state, the buddhi is awake. You get along sometimes like a trailer. You get pulled by the tractor, by those desires, and you go ahead. But suddenly you realize, and then you call back yourself and leave them. In dream also, these things melt. They just come out. Like I have seen some places where for no reason some bubbles come out from the water. They are like those bubbles. When you are fast asleep, please understand, last time I had told, one doesn't go to dream straight from the waking. One goes to sleep and then get back to dream. All these unfulfilled desires, ambitions, unfulfilled emotions, undigested emotions, unresolved attitudes, all of them start manifesting. Since there is no much of a buddhi in the dream, They are in a most disorderly fashion. No connection, to directly with the waking. It creates a mixed vegetable, mundhya, as we call it in Gujarati, of those emotions. They may see a person with a trunk and the horns and 6 hands. Those 6 hands were of Mataji Durga. Trunk was from some elephant he had seen, and the horns were of those cows and buffaloes whom he had met with sometimes. All that get mixed up and it just manifests. So Jagrad Avasthayam Yad Drishtam, Yad Shrutam, whatever is seen or heard, in other words, whatever is experienced, Tad Janita Vasanaya, Vasana means those impressions out of those experience. Yah prapanchah pratiyate, nidra samaye, in the deep sleep, the whole world that is projected, that is called Swapna Vastha. That what you experience in waking may belong to yesterday, may belong to last week or month or decade or last janma also. So some people see some funny things in the dream. Waking is one order of reality where you are identified with the gross body. Dream is purely another order of reality. The world is created by your mental projection. Okay? Like in the waking, some people see the dreams or they visualize some project. The whole thing gets into their mind. Or an architect visualizes a high riser and the design is in the mind and they make a model. So that comes out, but since there is no identification with the gross body, it is only subtle body with which you are identified. And that too is a different state, is altogether different reality. As I said, purely projections based on waking state. And those vasanas may be of any janmas. It is a semi-awake state. The individual is also partially awake. You can use the word half awake. In dream, all of us are only bhoktas, not kartas. In dream, you may do something, but that karma doesn't bring any karma phala. But the dream experiences of sukha dukkha does give sukha dukkha in waking to some extent. So Jivatma is only bhokta in a dream state. Okay? And it is purely mental projection. Please understand. Don't get into too much of analysis of the dream. Shastra, darshan is the whole waking is mithya. And on this mithya, there is a mithya's mithya dream. And you try to analyze my dream. There are so many people. And they say, you saw this in the dream, therefore this will come and this will happen. And all saying the future events to come cast their shadow in advance. Kuch shadow bada hota nahi. It is like a movie, you see a movie in which hero and heroine goes to see a movie. And at that, the movie that they see, you take it to be real. It is not to be analyzed. It is good redundant. Shastra would call it as kashaya. Some mala that will be that will get out. Strong vasanas will come. Neither it is good nor it is bad. You should not say, people ask also. I have seen people asking Swamiji, do you get dreams, Swamiji? mind does it. It is like asking, Swamiji, sometimes do you feel fresh? Or sometimes you feel unwell in the morning? It's the nature of the body. It plays its own gunas. Let it play. You know, somebody had told me in some religion, I don't know how far it is true, that the God in which they believe came into dream of this particular religious propagator or the founder, and in the dream he gave all the sanctions and injunctions. In the dream, Bhagavan told him, you can remarry with this and that. All kinds of things are there. You can have a marriage with your cousin and auntie and all kinds of things that somebody said to me. But our view, Hindu view is, it is absolutely mithya. Only similarity between dream and waking is the waker has a waking object and there is an interaction with waking objects, and with this interaction or this experience causes some sukha dukkha. So also the dreamer has dream objects, and those experiences of dream objects causes sukha dukkha. So that bhokta in both the states is common. And the bhokta per se is mithya. So both are equally mithya. Okay? So there is a no order. I don't know whether I told you or not. Sometimes when I see these modern art pictures, I don't understand what it is. I mean, I maybe in my ignorance, I'm not trying to belittle modern artists, modern art artists. But to me, it looks like that he has mixed up some color and thrown like this. And then you have to make out the meaning about it, you know. This one painter had this modern art painter at an exhibition gallery. He wanted to sell. It was a good name. One fellow went and then wanted to show off. He is a big buyer and big appreciator of the paintings. There was not much of a rush, and the painter was sitting there. He said, come here. Poor fellow went to him. Sir, bulaya. Then come along. Then he thought, when he's taking me, he might buy. So let's give a try. He sensed that this fellow doesn't understand anything. But still, he had to respect. And he passed by one after other painting, and this fellow kept telling, awesome, fantastic, just great, all adjectives. No concrete comment on the paintings. And then slowly this fellow slipped away. Then after going further to some point, that fellow, these visitors, said, hey, come here. He shouted. So he, poor fellow, went. And then he says, you are such a great artist. All the paintings are something marvelous. It's awesome. And I'm highly impressed. But I don't understand what a dirty painting you have made here. She showed something. The painter said, sir, it's not painting, it's a mirror. It is thyself. So, like that modern painting, things just come out. And sometimes people, some bad dream is there, they are so frightened, they ask, what will it take to us? And sometimes they see themselves getting money or something, then those fellows become so excited, 4-5 दिन बड़ी खुशी में जाते हैं. कभी कुछ lottery and they start playing lottery, then start expecting some promotion, then some stock offer in the company. I'm gonna to be rich. This is all memories coming out in a disorderly manner. In the waking state, Buddhi controls, but not in a sleep state. Okay? So, yad drashtam, yad sutam. It's a purely subtle world. The dream world and the dreamer has no entry into waking world. And the waking fellow has no entry into dream. You know? So I mean, Chinmayaji used to tell a story. You are both the Swamis were good story makers. You know, sometimes you don't know who surpasses who is better than who. Well, I was invited by President Clinton, and he will describe his oval office, huge table, and then these chairs, and then he will start from entry. White House gate, my car number was given, then photo, and the security checked me, and then they screened me, and then noise came because of my golden mala and golden thing. They were looking at me, funny person, because I was in orange dhoti and all that, something like they will narrate. I went into the office, a huge office in one corner. President, are you getting me? I am lost. Okay. Swami Chinmayanji used to tell a good story. I think it was, I mean, not think, I'm sure it was a made up story about the reality of the dream. And based on the dream, you draw conclusion on waking and give reality to waking. It seems that he was invited by the President of America, and he narrated all things that his car came and the White House gate security and then photographed and car security checked them and then went to there and then there was a frisking and they all looked at him that he was wearing orange clothes and a beard and mala and those days, you know, where Swamis were not known. And was made to sit somewhere and then some secretary came and then finally was led to Oval Office, its presidential office. And it was huge office and he will describe all this. As I said, both the Swamijis were very good storytellers. You don't know which one surpasses the other. So, Oval president was sitting and in that typical American high chair with a small base. Then he would have like the heels of a high heel of the woman. Base is small, you know. And then president appreciated me, Swami, you are doing great work, and etc. etc. And finally, US government has decided to help you. So, Swami said, that's good. You should help. I appreciate your help. Then, how much had a question, Swami said. The president said, well, he wrote the check and said, we are giving $1 million for your super work in bringing the world peace and all that. And he handed over the check to him. But we were on the other side of the table and the table belonged to the president of US. So it was a huge table. So he just came forward on the chair and took the check. And by the time he touched the chair turned around and he fell. Okay? So when he fell, then he said, then I realized I was in my kutia, not in Oval Office. I had fallen from my bed, nothing else. There was no oval and no chair. And he would add a thing. On waking, you know, in dream there is only bhokta. So I repented so much. Wish the check would have come to my hand and I would have fallen. But I just touched the check and lost it. Wish that I had just half a second more to hold the check. Anyway, coming back to this story, it is purely projection of the mind. And that script of the dream is written by those vasanas and samskaras. Okay. Thereafter comes Sushuddhi. Look at the book, next state of the awareness, the next state of experience. Sushupti avastha ka. That's a question. Teacher says, aham kimapi na janami. Sukhena maya nidra anubhuyata. It is Sushupti avastha. What is the dream state? Na kimapi na janami. I do not know anything. And the second part of it is Sukhena maya nidra anubhuyata. I really slept happily. So I had a real good sleep. There is a courtesy, etiquette. When you meet in American style, when you meet somebody in the morning, so how was the night? Could you rest well? Rest ke liye we were here, so here. But then you would ask, did you rested well? You say, yeah, I rested well. And now watch has all these applications on mobile. So when you wear the watch, you know how much you rested and sound sleep and non-sound sleep and sleep deficit and blah, blah, blah. I slept happy. What is that state? In the dream, individuality is suspended. Please understand. So there is an experience that I slept. Please understand, individuality is suspended, not the individual. The individual is there, the jiva is there, but the pronounced jiva, I am man and woman and young or old and Brahmana, Kshatriya, American, Indian, etc., etc., CEO of the company or engineer, nothing, that individuality is not, but individual is there. So that is one thing. And when there is no experiencer experienced, that is called state of no vikalpa. Vikalpa means something other than me, something which is real, other reality. So there is, dream is, in Sanskrit you can as well say it is a nirvikalpa avastha. This yoga is also try to gain nirvikalpa avastha. But there is one basic difference. You see, after sleep, when you wake up, as I told you, the individuality is suspended, not the individual. So when you wake up, the individual is there with all his baggages, bag of happiness and unhappiness and karma, phala and relation, everything is there. It's like the modern screensaver mode in the computer. When it is on a screensaver, you may think that computer is closed, switched off. No. You just touch it, it is there. All the files are there on the screen. Then you select a specific file and click and open it. Similarly, when you sleep, all my ambitions, my desires, my emotions, my anything, they are all suspended, temporary. Moment it is like screensaver state. If you don't go to dream or wake up, the suspension comes out by itself. So certain attitudes suddenly manifest, certain activity the person does, then all that manifests. So dream is a nirvikalpa, but that yogi is nirvikalpa and the dream nirvikalpa, there is one basic difference. The dream nirvikalpa dream nirvikalpa, sleep nirvikalpa, there is no awareness of no vikalpa. Whereas in so-called yogi samadhi nirvikalpa avastha, the fellow is aware, the individuality is there and observing, yes, I am nirvikalpa. There is no bhokta, there is no karta, no cousins, no beloved people, nothing, nobody. I alone am there. So, Sushupti, I would say this. Then he says, what sukhena maya nidra anubhuyat. I slept very happily. That is what person says. So that is a nidra avastha. As I told you, in sleep also nirvikalpa and yogi also works for nirvikalpa. But all the problems and hang-ups and unsettled emotions which the fellow had, which caused some dream, moment Jivatma wakes up, everything comes back. The anger, the jealousy, frustration, all related to people, situation come to mind. And mind start enacting the role. So sleep is a state of no experience. Like in a dark, pitch dark monsoon, where stars are not seen, moon is not there. Even if your eyes are open, you say, I don't see anything. That I don't see anything is also seen. There is a seer to see that. Eyes are working, also is recognized, and eyes are not seeing, that also is recognized. I see that I am seeing, and I see that I am not seeing. This is a peculiarity of this, with this indriyas. Similarly, the sleep also, I know that I do not know anything. As though fellow takes a blanket of darkness, covers himself all sense organs, cover a blanket of, you can say, no individuality. That blanket is there in deep sleep. One more thing it is, Bhashyakara says, look at the shloka, Karanabhimani Atma, Sukshma Sharirabhimani Atma, Pragnaha Ityuchate. The sleeping fellow is called Pragna. It is just a name. Pragna means Agnaha, means ignorant one. And Prakarshena Agnaha, very well ignorant, is called Pragna. You can interpret the word Pragna in, generally people have this vicarious knowledge that Pragna means a wise man. But Pragna means those unwise also. Here, since it is said Pragna, so we have to divide it. Pra-agna. So then again get a prefix and get going. Anyway, coming back to this. Karana Sharirabhimani Atma Pragna iti uchyate. There is only one body with which the fellow identifies. And that body is causal body, or Karana Sharira. And thereby he becomes wiser and wiser. So Pragna is the one who doesn't know the thing. What is the steam sleep? There is a Upanishadic Vakya. Tatra andho anandho bhavati. You know, if you see this, the sleep of a beggar, the sleep of a king is same. Prior to sleep, what all they do is different. The king may have double king size bed for his use, American king size. special bedspread, some perfumes over there, whatever he likes. And his beloved wife also has agreed to come to that, let's say, from America to India. And the king sleeps in the palace. His pillow is a special pillow. The beggar sleeps on the footpath and his hand is only pillow. All the differences of a king or a beggar or a blind is still you sleep. Once you sleep, you are equally royalty. So what he experiences, you experience the same thing. It may depend upon to what extent you are relaxed and sleeping, your happiness, your physical comfort, etc. But both are same, and that is why Sukhena Maya Swapsa. I slept very happily. That experience a beggar also has. That experience the richest person of the country also has. That experience is same. I can add one more thing. Western philosophers don't analyze three states. Look at this further. There is no kingly royal sleep and there is no beggarly sleep. Sukhena Maya Aswaps. I slept happily. There is an experience of happiness, experience which is devoid of anything to be experienced. I don't want to experience anything. I don't want any worldly object. Our sleep analysis itself shows there is no object. The lady may have her beloved son coming after 7 years from US. But still after 10, 15 minutes, she will say, bye-bye, we'll see you tomorrow. So everybody seems to be in love with the sleep. The only reason is sleep gives happiness. Otherwise, people would not have loved to get into sleep. The blind becomes non-blind. The deaf becomes non-deaf. So that is a fallout of Sushupti. Sleep is same. Individual is same. Individuality goes away, temporary. As for therefore, there is no ego also. There is nothing to achieve, nothing to do. So that prajna is called by this, and please understand all this discussion, all this analysis that we have been doing. There is only one thing to know, it is a cognitive thing. And you have to have patience, because it is not gross, it is cognitive. So people need some subtlety to what it is. So it will take time. Okay? Now, that original mistake is also not there in sin. That Adam and Eve committing sin and all that. Nothing is there. Now, there is one original mistake. To take ourselves to be body-mind complex. When I identify with the stool body, then further I identify with my caste, with my citizenship, with my stature, etc. This is an additional element. I mean, disappointment, you can say. It's a secondary mistake. Primary mistake is I do not know who am I. You can say this non-apprehension of the Vastu. Waking में भी वही है, लेकिन waking में non-apprehension becomes subdued, and the person who was non-apprehensive starts doing something for Goswami. Why this happens? Blanket. The fellow covering the place. And that is original mistake. Then secondary mistake, then karma phala mistake. To teach us this fact is the discussion. Now, there is a Panchakoshatita. What is beyond Panchakosha? Atma is analyzed from different standpoints. You can say Panchakoshaha, not the hiding places of Atma, but the right word would be 5 layers of this our Indian Jadav's release. Number of layers come and go. So, there is an original mistake of ignorance. Waking, there is a layer of misapprehension born out of knowledge. In sleep, there is only and only non-apprehension. I do not know who am I. And on waking, I know who am I, and I know what is to be done by me. How others should look at me, how they should not. But the basic fact is ignorance. Look at this. 3 bodies are divided into 5 levels. One, when the fellow is identified with the body, then he becomes one of the merchants. That identification with these 3 bodies is looked upon as 5 levels. One Sthula Sharira is a first kosha. Then Prana is a kosha, Manas is kosha, Buddhi is kosha, and knowledge is a kosha. All these detailed steps Shankaracharya doesn't write because he might have felt to be unnecessary. But then, basic ignorance caused provisional divisions are meant to give insight about Atma, not to justify koshas. When Avasthatraya is talked about, people tend to justify ourselves. Now when they talk about this, they justify some foreign trip. Please don't do this. These things, as I said, we are trying to understand the reality of the self with reference to the bodies. In this 5 locus of the mystic, general mystic, is called kosha. They are not really kosha. Okay? Much less they are covering Atma. Because the thing that is covered should be smaller than the thing by which it is covered. So if they are covering Atma, then Atma becomes miniature, Japanese mini Atma. I would say bonsai Atma. Atma becomes bonsai. But then nature takes care. And there was a system, ecology system. Nature took care of all the insects and birds and animals. Identification with the gross body, the first kosha, Sthula Sharira kosha. Identification, we use this word, never using the word identification. I am hungry, I am thirsty, I need to eat this, I need to drink this regularly. That I has to go further. And then we have to see this I, go to the end of the I's limit and discover what exactly is kosha. Emotions, when I express myself as a given emotion, I am very angry, I am frustrated, I am just bubbling with love and happiness. All these emotions also becomes a kosha. Then comes buddhi, The one who is either satisfied or dissatisfied, the one which considers itself to be very well learned or ignorant, all those will join over here, and then we can start. What discussion? That Atma is free from Panchakoshas. It is in and through koshas, but it is above all the koshas. That is a Vedanta. When they say avastha traya sakshi, you have to get rid of avastha, you have to get rid of Panchakosha, kuch karna nahi. It is purely cognitive process. It is not physical process. Atma also can never be covered, much less there are some qualities which can be covered. And evening, when we go to sleep, that Karana Sharira Abhimani, ignorant I, also because of the connection with the that ignorant I, because of the connection with the other bodies through the Sukshma Sharira, then again that ignorant remains. Atma is beyond all of them. They are in me, I am not in them. That is why Atma is free from all kinds of limitations or unhappiness caused by others. We'll understand the word kosha in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hare Om.